fighting for power or fighting for whatever, they will fight happen there. You see, and people like this guy here say IO. IO has been in that area for how many years? They never went in and attacked civilians. Never. They never did. Since this war started. Or let's just say since 2016. The IO never attacked anybody. Okay? And it's just, but these are people who are fighting during employment or source of whatever, try to find source of income. But the question is, what number of Nuer that travel all the way down from eastern Nuer to western Nuer and went all the way down to central Equatoria to the point where they can ambush two of the largest community within the Denka? What sense is that? And then, you know, you're talking about, I saw this Nuer general guy was riding in one of the boats. To my observation, this guy was also a victim because he was giving people direction. So he was helping people navigate. I don't know whether from Upper Nile or where, but why do we have to fabricate things and drag innocent into the discussion where we bring our tribe into unreasonable conflicts when it's absolutely unnecessary? Only one community will die? How? And what kind of fight is it? Or what kind of attack is it? And then this young guy, they'll say, well, the attacker was the Nuer guy, but they ask him, how did you know? It's like, because I talked to him. Okay, if you talk to him and you happen to be a Denka, wouldn't you be also among the dead? If the guy who is attacking people is Nuer and his intention is just to kill all the Denka, why letting you go? Because you're too cute or you're sweet? All the survivors, they're all Denka. Yet the attacker was Nuer, and who killed Denka? How did they survive? It doesn't make any sense. Because if the intention for the Nuer whatever attacker was to just kill all the Denka, wouldn't all of this would be dead? There would be no survivor. But because it's a fabrication to the incident that happened, they have to, you know, they have to lie about it. And they do believe it. Like these people who are writing here that, yes, it is true, they believe that it is. And then why, if the IO were to come in and attack people, why only attacking young guys? Heard them talking what? What people talk about, especially when they're attacking. Who do you even have time to talk? Who have time to talk when you're attacking somebody? Nobody. Don't be an ignorant and hypocrite and not calling the spade a spade. The fabrication is obvious here. What we need to find out as citizens is what happened. But everything happened, it's always the IO, it's always the Nuer. When in reality, we don't see that. We don't see that. These people, they're fighting over resources, and we know that. Whether they're Denka versus Denka, it doesn't really matter. They are fighting, even though they try to hide it. But till when you're going to cover your ignorance behind the IO and behind the Nuer? You kill each other, you say it's Nuer. Why don't you just admit it? Say that you were disputing. I mean, we are human. I mean, even us as Nuer, we don't all get along. And we happen to be Nuer, and we can fight among ourselves. If we're killing ourselves in Bantu, should we be framing the legacy that they're the attacker? Is that going to solve the problem? I mean, you can lie about it on social media, but in reality, is that the same fight that you guys had will continue to exist. Whatever led to you fighting among each other would also be there. It will not be disappeared because you've tried to frame the Nuer with it. So why be a hypocrite and a liar? And that's why this country is going nowhere, because we always lie for something that is so true. The fight between Awil and Warab is not a new thing. Even us, when we were in Khartoum, it happened. Just because you're Denka, it doesn't mean you're not going to fight among yourself. We speak the same language, but we come from different communities. We raised from different environment. Even though we all speak the same language, it doesn't mean that we can agree on everything. Even within your own family, you disagree. You have dispute within your own family. But why is it when you frame other community for an incident that they have nothing to do with it? What are you going to gain besides you maintaining the hate among communities? You're only maintaining the hate. You continue to hate them, they continue to hate you. You told me something happening. I mean, the Central Equatoria is completely under control of the government. Completely under control. They even dismissed the governor. So what power the IO will have, or even the Nuer, a civilian, will have to the point where they can just go in and victimize people? Only young people. All boys. You ought to be pathetic and ignorant not to see that these people had a big fight and people lost their life. But it has nothing to do with Nuer. It would have been more sense if you say Equatoria did that, or Zandi people did that, or Kikuyu or whatever did it, because they were within the area. But to say Nuer who come all the way down from Upper Nile, you are ignorant, man. Oh, lady. The fact that we continue to lie among ourselves, that's why we have no peace. Okay, ignorant. The IO recently has heard that their commanding in chief is being released. As somebody with a sound-minded, do you think they would incite war? Knowing that there's a possibility of peace, do you think they will fight? You ought to be stupid. Because if something is going to make me happy, it's taking place, why would I even continue to fight? I will pause and wait. And like right now, it's all the Iowa they're waiting. And if the intention was for the Iowa to target people, why they could just do it in, they could do it in Bantu, they could do it in Nasser, they could do it in Ayut, they could do it in all those areas. Just because the IG has one weird guy among themselves, they will frame the very same guy who's helping them just to justify something. You see, this idiot say Iowa doesn't want election. Don't make me call you name, Code. Have common sense. The very reason the country is in war today is because the government doesn't want election. The 2013 war to stop the 2015 election. The 2016 war to stop the election of 2018. And just, we keep going, we keep repeating the same things. But yet, with your lie, with your ignorance, you continue to frame others. Just like you're doing right now, when you fight among yourself, you say the Nuer or the IO. I don't think there's that many Nuer in there because they will not survive. Because these two communities, they are Wanchan and Awil, dominate the area. And they do, because one, you cannot just dig that oil and put the money into your pocket. Somebody is paying this young boy to work there. Somebody's paying them to work there. And one of them happened to have weapon more than others. Whether it's Warab used the one with weapon, and then they ended up victimizing the people of Awil. I don't know. And I think that's what it is, because majority of the dead were all from Awil. At 99%. So only one community was targeted. So you would say there's a plan here. You know, somebody happened to have power over the other. And that's why we see who died. Madam Jacqueline. But no, we don't want to admit it. And Awil people are the victim of this. Whether they want to be honest with it or not, but they are the victim because they're the one who lost their life here. Out of all the people of Warab, why only 1 or 2 people died on all the count? It was because they were targeted. Or they did not have anything to defend themselves with, and that's why they have the number of people who die. Are you telling me in Jebel Mara there's only one from Warab who was there? Everybody else was from Awil? You ought to be stupid. And the only reason, or what will make sense is, the reason why there's only one Warab guy died is because they dominate. They will use who were there. That makes sense. Even though we are not there, but that would make sense. But to say that they're Nuer, or they're IO, when we know IO never killed civilians, never. And never even went in to attack the government itself, leave alone going in. They always fight in defense, always fighting in defense. You cannot name me one time where you say the IO went in and attacked others. None. The White Army of Nasser did, but that's because they had enough. And they took it upon themselves. But the IO never attacked anybody. Not in Bantu, not in Ayut or Fangak, not in Nasser, not in Akobo. Even the Akobo war right now is, the government is the one who went in to attack. The IO did not go and attack them. And now you tell me that IO went in and attacked civilians? You're stupid. But the irony is you always continue to frame Nuer is, and you, moron, all the young boys that were interviewed, they said they were Nuer. The attacker were Nuer. And here you are, you're saying the attacker are IO. In IO, the IO in Equatorial region, it's mixed. It has Equatorian, it has Nuer, okay? And if you see even their unit commanders, they're not even Nuer. The unit commanders, they're from Equatoria. Only the top guy, which is Mabia, is the only guy, but he sees the entire operation within the Equatoria. So you will not say that he's a frontline guy, no. Even though, yes, we have seen Mabia talking to troops all the time, but he was not that kind of guy who would oversee the central of Equatoria and then the southern part or the western part of Equatoria. But because you are so hateful, you're tribal-minded, even dispute among yourself with your own family, you will say a Nuer guy was the reason why I lost my dad or I lost my uncle, when it was the fight among yourself. Why can't we be honest? We go nowhere. The Nuer are not leaving South Sudan. The Dinka are not leaving South Sudan. Until when we're going to continue to lie for things that is taking your own life? Like some of you supporting the war in Akoba now, do you think only the Nuer will be dying in that war? Your family member would die too. The fight between Awil and Warab, it's not a new thing. I've seen it myself. It started with something very little and then it escalated to something bigger. Even in Khartoum where we were. And now there's some bitterness. Some people are loyal to Bolmel and some people are loyal to Kir. So when these two are in one area, expect absolutely nothing good coming out of their mouths. There were 21 people who were killed in Lagos State. Who killed them? There were about 13 or were killed in Ayut. Who killed them? There were about 8 were killed in Malakal. Who killed them? So you're always looking into what suited your fucking brain, but you don't care about the pain of others. Even something, what I'm saying is, if it happened among yourself, don't fucking bring it to other communities. Keep it to yourself. Or don't drag other community into it. And then if you're right, then we cannot justify it. Like even the incident of Abimnum, until now, nobody know what happened. Because even the use of Mayom themselves, they don't know what happened. Whether it's a joint operation with your neighbors, who knows? But it could go both ways. It could be Maram, it could be the Nuer of Mayom, it could be. But here is an incident that takes place from where you make your money. An incident happened in a place where you make your own money. Who's responsible here? Somebody within the Kid government is responsible for the operation there. And he's responsible to give a weapon to others and not to the others. So we people were basically working when the incident happened, probably. Because that makes sense. The slavery time where the master have a gun and then you have absolutely nothing. Or you have a shovel. What are you going to do with the shovel when the master have a gun? You raise your head, they will shoot you. That's what happened. But what outraged me was, why framing the Nuer with this? And you cannot tell me that there's a Nuer guy Nuer youth who's working in that field. Absolutely not. Because he would not survive. He would not make it. Not even during Bull Mill or even currently, he would not make it. Because when young people stay in one area, it's always about whose side is dominant, who's the boss here, who's the gangster. That's what young people do. They try to define gang members. People with power. People will fight you anytime when you cross the line. And that's what happened. The use of Awil had enough, and then the use of Warab have enough, and then they went at it. You cannot just come into a party and you can only select young people. Your weapon is spare old people and kids, only young people from this age to this age. You ought to be stupid to say that's true. It did not make any sense at all. I mean, sorry they lost their life. And the country will continue to lose young people with the same behaviors. You liar, you pathetic, you don't tell the truth, and then guess what? The same incident is going to repeat itself again down the road because you're a liar and you're pathetic. Because you're not working on avoiding such an incident to happen. You're really working on maintaining the same behaviors. Let it continue. You get me today, great. I'll get you tomorrow. And then the cycle of revenge after another continue. And those of you ignorant who are saying that the Nuer are the one who did it, guess what you're creating? You're creating more hate. Because you show that you hate the Nuer will hate you. That's what you're doing. And we will never find out what happened. We will never find out because they're going to shut it down. We will never find out. They're going to frame the Nuer on social media that they did it. But why would Nuer of Iowa, or let's just say, why would an Iowa do such an event? We have seen General Dr. Nathaniel yet recently talking about peace. Why would his troop go in and attack people without his approval? It would never happen. And then the same general guy that they sharing his video, he's dead now. He was killed. And guess he was killed in a way that they took his pants off. Who does that? Later in the day, the guy was navigating, was showing them the way, but all of a sudden he became dead with no pants. So you will see here the rivalry, the hate that people are continue to preach rather than calling things as they happen so people can live peacefully. People don't have to die for others to stay in power. The government does not belong to a Pacific tribe. And that's what we continue to say. The government does not belong to an individual. It belongs to all of us, whether you're in office or you're just a voter, it doesn't matter. It belongs to all of us. Stop spreading the hate. Others become a victim of that hate, just like happened to those youth of a will who lost their life over power. That's what happened. We probably going to make you like bold men, and that's exactly what happened. And obviously, if you're a young man, you cannot be insulted by another young man and expect to be silent. You're not. So just admit it. The Warab people and the Will people kill each other. Because Warab has power, victims become morally on the Will side. It has nothing to do with Nuer at all, or even the IO itself. You know, accusing the IO when the IO have absolutely nothing. The IO is the one who wanted peace. They wanted peace. They want the country to go to a better state. But every time when we reach that level, things change. And then we go back to war again. Why can't we just be honest so people can live peacefully? Why do we have to fabricate truths or to lies? Just say it so we can bring a solution to it. But no, there's people behind it. There's people who created this mess. And as much as we're hearing positive news that Dr. Riek will be released, some people are creating chaos, on the other hand, to kind of like buy time. That's what happened. Because they don't want to focus on this. They want to mislead you to focus into this one here instead of that. Because as citizens now, we will be focused on, okay, when is Dr. Riek going to be relieved? That will be the focus. But because they don't want that, they have to create another problem so you can focus on it. Just like they did. They removed the governor of Unity State because of a Bimnam incident. Now you become cool now. You're all set. But the problem has not been solved. chances are you can go to Mayom tomorrow and kill people, or the same people can go and kill you, or Maram people can come and kill you. It could happen. So the other side is focused on something completely different. The so-called government is fighting the Nuer up in Jonglei area, and then here you are, you're killing each other on the other side because it's all about power. As much as people try to say Denka, Denka, it's not about Denka. It's about a group of people, and sometimes it's even community. So our country has gone that low to the point where we see things in a very family-oriented. We don't see them as a public things. And that's why when we debate, we ended up fighting. Let the use of a one chan know that they overpower the use of a will, and that's why they ended up dead 20 plus hours ago. It was obvious. It was obvious that it was a fight between young people with power or with weapon against other group, and that's what happened. Because the body that we've seen, the name that we have seen, show exactly what happened. Why would a Nuer guy just come in and say, you know what, let me kill them, we'll use all of them? It doesn't make any sense. Only a group of people who know each other committed such a crime. You cannot just be coming out of nowhere and then you just target one clan out of many Dinka. Board are there, Leg State are there, One Chan people are there, Diem Nom Yus are there, but you only kill from a will as a Nuer guy? What logic is that? It doesn't make any sense. There's equatorial use within the same area, and then the target who come out of nowhere only will. How did the target know that this young man, they're all from a will? It doesn't make any sense. But if I'm within the area, I will know who's from a will and who's from Warab, and who's from Abimnum and who's from Board and who's from Leg State. I will know because I'm among them. I'm part of them. I sleep with them. I eat with some of them. So only a target that knows who's who would commit such a crime. A very selective killing, not just, you go on that side as a will, you come on this side as Nuer, and then you shoot each other, and then yes, you would say that makes sense. But when it's only between the Warab and the will people, and you continue to drag others into it, you're a hypocrite. And I will say that that's exactly the very reason why this country is going nowhere. Because we lie so much, we fabricate things to prove a point, and that fabrication ended up leading into tribal hate that have absolutely no benefit to either side. It may be beneficial to you maintain others, but the very people that you try to maintain in power are the very people that are killing you. You try to keep them in power because of us as Nuer or them as Denka, but they're the very people who will kill you. You see, that general was not even killed in that area. So just walk away, man. Okay, I could walk away. The guy was not even killed in that area. So take your small mind somewhere else. I saw the guy dead. I saw his picture, but he was not killed there. That guy was also in a completely different mission, not even in the same mission that ended up taking this life of young Will Use. No, it was completely different. But you try to connect them together to make a case, which is very stupid. They're both different events. They're not the same events. But to sell the argument, you have to connect them together. But they don't connect. And that general also have a uniform of the SSPDF, not the IO uniform. The same uniform that he was wearing was the same uniform the SSPDF are wearing. You didn't think that people will also see such a thing? Just because he's a Nuer guy with mark, and then we can just disregard the uniform that he was wearing. Whether he liked what he was doing or he was forced to do it, he did it anyway, and then he ended up losing his life over it. Lord Moto, get the hell out of here, man. Take your head somewhere else. I know you're a liar, you're pathetic. I know that. But I don't hate you for it. And I will never kill you because you're a liar. I'm not. But I will not entertain your stupidity. I don't hate you. I don't. But you're a liar, you're pathetic, you're among the people who support a tribal war. Despite what the fuck happened to your brother a couple of years ago, you don't care about it. You disregard it. Your brother almost got killed. But you never say a word. You kept your mouth quiet. Your own brother. If you're not an idiot, why would a Nuer guy kill only people from Awit? Why? In a place where there's many tribes in there. But because you're a moron, you don't see the puzzle here. If the attack happened in Awil, we may say yes, because Awil is for Awil people. But in Central Equatoria, you only go and kill Awil people? Are you an idiot? Like even me personally right now, if I were to go into that area, who would I know who's from Awil and who's from One Chan and who's from Lagos State? To be selective on who should I be shooting and who to spare? Don't piss me off, man. And here you are calling me a killer? Get the fuck out of here. I don't like liars. I like people to be honest. You gotta be honest. Because we don't want the same incident to repeat itself. But don't come here and stand behind your fucking tribe when the wrong thing is happening within. If you're not an idiot, why would only Awil people die in that attack? Why? And you don't ask yourself questions. There's a lot of youth there, not only Awil people. A lot of Danka youth work in the same place or live in the same place. But why would only Awil people die in that attack or in that incident? And then you try to say it coming from the outside? What common sense is that? We keep talking all the time here, we want a solution, but yet some of you more don't want a solution. And you come in here calling me like I look like a killer. Why don't you say that to those who almost killed your brother? Did you tell them they look like a killer? I didn't touch anybody. Your brother almost lost his life. Was it from a Nuer guy? But yet you come here and call other people a killer when the killing is within yourself. Have some shame, man. You grown up, man. You're on your 50s. Be honest. Be sincere. Lying will take you nowhere. And framing other will not change the reality. You can lie on Facebook all you want, but the reality would always be reality, no matter what. You cannot just blame the Nuer with incidents that happen among yourself, and then you say Nuer. I wish they don't even know what happened to their own tribe, because if they do, they'll be honest with such a things. Because the very person who killed him, for whatever the reason it may be, it's not going to change. The fact that people with him will always look stupid to from that person who committed the attack, it will be obvious. But yet you go around and then try to blame other people for an incident that happened within your area. Yeah, because you pissed me off. And then this guy coming out of nowhere and call me a killer. When I never wish for anybody to die. I don't. I come here to say logic things. Why would only the use of a will die in that attack? Why? If the attacker is from Nuer, how did he know this guy are from a will, this guy are from Warab, this guy are from Lagos State, this guy are from Bor? How did the Nuer guy know that? How did the Nuer guy know that? You kill yourself and then you frame the Nuer. Did you solve the problem? Absolutely not. Just like this Call Moto, when his brother was in trouble, he kept quiet. He never opened his fucking mouth. And his brother was not captured by a Nuer. He was not beaten by Nuer people. But yet here he is now is blaming the Nuer people, when the same incident happened to his own brother. And then he tried to justify it. His own brother. We all have his pictures. We share it on social media. We rally behind him. We sympathize with him. That he should be released. But were the people who attacked him or beat him almost to death was Nuer?